Oklahoma City Thunder are going to have to send a little fruit basket to Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets because the defending champs going out in round 2 gives a little cover to the number 1 seed out west, who didn't even make it to a game 7. Rylan Stiles from Locked On Thunder joins me now. And Rylan, there are going to be 2 big criticisms. In fact, they've already emerged of this team this season. And the big one to me is, why, when they had the chance, did they not do anything at the deadline to add a rebounder or do something the way that, say, the Mavericks did? What do you make of that criticism?
Yeah, I think that from the outside looking in, it's obviously fair. I think that internally, though, the Thunder really wanted to get a look at this team, what they were capable of, what this team's identity could lend itself to in the postseason, and give themselves the best possible shot at getting all of the data points necessary to make their next move. That came at the cost of those same issues that plagued them at the deadline, plaguing them in the playoffs. But they have a very wide scope lens view of this. This is a very abnormal team. This is not your typical 1 seed. 2 straight years of 15+ win improvements. Like, they're almost a victim of their own success, of like now people retroactively are getting upset that they lost in the second round. If I told you in October that this team lost in the second round, you'd say that's great progress for a team that missed the playoffs last year and was under 500. Nationally, I totally get that they didn't go make a move to get better at the deadline. They thought Gordon Hayward could get them better as a secondary scoring option. He did not in any way make them better.
Gordon Hayward thought that too, apparently.
The Gordon Hayward thought that as well. Both counts were wrong on that aspect, but they didn't make a move that was impactful. I think it was calculated, though, to make sure that they had all the possible info before heading into this summer, before heading into now the pressure being on. There was no pressure on this team this whole season, and it resulted in 57 wins. But now there is expectations for them moving forward, and there will be for half a decade plus.
Does it make it a little harder to stomach, though, when you look at what the Mavericks did? And even if they don't make a big-ish swing for PJ Washington, like Daniel Gafford, they got for like 4 basketballs and a bag of popcorn. The Thunder could have made a move like that. So understanding all the things that you're saying, and that's certainly going to be the company line, I guess I struggle to understand why you couldn't do both.
Yeah, I think that you could have done both if you're OKC, as you help facilitate that Gafford trade. If the Thunder shoot better.
That's the part that really is sting too. Like, if you're a Thunder fan, you're like, we helped them make this trade.
Yeah. If the Thunder shoot where they were at the deadline, where they have been all season long for the majority of this series, then the series could have gone differently as well. I think that that's a big caveat in this. Like, this system is predicated on hitting threes. You didn't hit threes in this series and you lost. Whereas the whole season they were the number 1 shooting team, and you couldn't really predict that these guys would just miss open threes at this point in the season. And it came down to the trade deadline stuff will always be a massive deal. Like you'll always look back on this year and wonder why they didn't do both. But at the same time, you had a big 3 in Shea, Chet, and J-Dub, and 2 of those 3 did not show up offensively for this entire series. And if I told you that at the deadline, that like, hey, you're going to go into the second round and J-Dub and Chet are not going to be there offensively, you'd have said that they lost to anybody, no matter if they went and got Gafford or not. So like, it's kind of a double-edged sword here. They had to just go through the fire with these young guys and let them experience the postseason, let them develop, and let them react to it. But you can certainly make the argument that with all the assets that they have, they should have done something, and then they should have zagged from their company line, if you will.
All right, so now they have an off season to get this right. They understand, okay, if we are maybe 1 or 2 minor moves away, maybe 1 major move if you want to make it away, what do you think is the best way for this team to set about using, as you mentioned, they have a war chest that no one in the NBA can match of picks. So how do they go about best managing those assets and getting this team to where they want to get to?
It's going to be fascinating to see. I think that they're going to be the most interesting offseason team for the next few off seasons, because you look at it, they have to spend money this summer because you have to spend 90% of the cap by opening night. And so they need to take care of Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins. Like, I think that they're going to reject Wiggins' team contract and then re-sign him, as they did for Lou Dort earlier, a couple off seasons ago. So I think that they'll pay Wiggins. I think they could work something out with Isaiah Joe. But how do you get better externally It's going to be a balancing act, though, because you saw how good J-Dub was from year 1 to year 2, taking a leap. Now you're going to see Chet develop internally. You're going to see J-Dub continue to develop internally. So what do you put around these guys? I think everything's on the table for Oklahoma City. I think that they can make a huge, big splash and like go make a move that Woj drops a tweet and the world of the NBA has changed forever. I think that they can also evaluate the marketplace and just wait it out. Like, because I think that we're going to put a lot of pressure on them this summer. But look at the Dallas Mavericks, who went and made a move in the offseason to go get Grant Williams. They went and traded for Derek Lively. They went and got some marginal pieces. It didn't work. And then they used the deadline to pivot. And the Thunder are going to have so many points that they can pivot that they can afford to go make some moves this summer, even if they don't necessarily work, because they have all these kind of get out of jail free cards. I think that the Thunder will make a move where you're gonna text me and have me back on the show this summer.
Stay up to date on the Oklahoma City Thunder all year by subscribing to Locked On Sports Today and Locked On Thunder on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube.